So today I thought it would be fun to directly compare Ireland to America and point out some weird differences. This being a list means it doesn't apply to every single person or every single thing. It's full of generalizations. That's what I can't even. Well, I'm from Albuquerque and I don't like flags. Okay, Bradley, that's your prerogative. I'm just saying, in general, American people like flags. That's just an example. Before I get into the list, be sure to subscribe. Otherwise, next time you go to eat a really delicious ice cream, you're gonna get brain freeze. Coming in at number 10, it's how differently Irish and American people use cutlery. Let me show you. If I'm eating a meal, I will cut up my food, and then I'll continue to hold my knife and I'll put the food in my mouth. And that's just how I'll spend the whole meal, as an Irish person. Nom nom nom. Cut the uppy food. Now, let me try and remember how American people do it.
America.
So when American people do it, they go like this, and they cut up the food, and then they put down the knife, and then they transfer the fork over, and then they pick up the food like this. And I think that accounts for why generally American people take bigger bites of things, because I guess it gets to a point where you haven't cut up something and you're just like, screw it, and you just eat the thing without cutting it up. That's just an observation. American people do that differently than Irish people. The next weird thing is how differently we use language. So Irish people are generally pretty well versed in American slang, and that's because we have a lot of pop cultural references, music, TV shows, films.
Oh, gnarly!
Indeed, my generation has been accused of adopting a lot of Americanisms. The funny thing is though, even though Irish people are well versed in American phraseology, American people are not as well versed in Irishisms. I'm always really careful about things that I say in these videos, lest I say something that's not going to be internationally understood, but even I fall down this wormhole sometimes and people go, sorry, what did you say? What did you mean? And that's kind of fair enough, because really the most cultural references Americans have to Irish phrases and stuff is things like the quiet man, and that's about as relevant as a Lucky Charms ad.
It's the magical part of a complete breakfast.
So I have to avoid phrases like do a legger, score a rugger bugger, you are sucking diesel.
Sounds sexy.
It's not. Also, Irish people tend to adjust our accents around Americans so that they can understand us a little better. I just find it interesting that obviously it doesn't go the other way around, because how could it? Basically what I'm saying is we need more Irish people in your pop culture. The next thing is the ability to handle different types of weather. Americans are incredibly good at rolling with it. You get some places in America that are really, really hot and some places that are really, really cold. And say it's snowing, you guys deal with that really well. You get snow plows, and salt things for the roads and all that kind of thing. And you all dress for the weather. It's cool. If it's sunny, you guys have aircon. In Ireland, our weather is not so predictable. You can literally have snow in the same day as sunshine. So I think that makes it a little bit more forgivable that we don't know what the hell we're doing when the weather changes. But then again, it changes all the time. So should we not be on board with these developments by now? When we get a snowstorm in Ireland, everything shuts down. The schools shut down, the roads close, the whole country goes to pieces.
I'm not emotionally prepared for that.
When it's super, super hot, everybody complains because we don't have aircon. Because why would we have aircon? Because it's cold sometimes. Why would our houses be fitted with aircon? I kind of think maybe we should prepare ourselves for all the different types of weather, because that's how it's always been in Ireland. So maybe we should just do that. At the same time, if I'm going out, I'm not going to bring a t-shirt and a big coat. But that is what you should do. And then you won't end up with a situation like this. Get down, get down, get down, get down. And I decided to roll with the hair situation. I just threw myself into it. The next thing is how differently Irish and American people handle meeting strangers. So America is huge. So generally people handle meeting strangers pretty well. You'll just go up to people, you'll shake hands with them, you'll introduce yourself. Irish people sort of tend to need to find an in. So for example, you don't get random strangers asking out other random strangers that easily. Now people are using Tinder and stuff, but even then there's been an online introduction sort of. Irish people wave at other Irish people when we're driving and stuff, but when it comes to strangers, it kind of tends to stay at a superficial level. And generally speaking, it's not hard to find it in with Irish people. You're probably related to somebody in some way, or somebody works with somebody's sister, or blah blah blah. In America, you have no choice but to go just talk to strangers. This leads me on to the next point, which is about social cues. Irish people rely heavily on social cues, where Americans are way more direct. And this is probably again because they're used to just going up to total strangers.
Tell me about yourself.
In Ireland, small talk can stay at a very surface level, whereas in America, small talk can very quickly jump into something really personal, and you can find yourself having a really personal conversation really fast with an American.
Or at least, that's what I'm learning in therapy.
This goes all the way along the spectrum. I've talked before about how Irish people will like refuse a cup of tea, for example, 3 times, but they'll actually want a cup of tea, so you have to keep offering, you will, you'll have one, you'll have a cup of tea.
Go on, would you not have a drop?
No, thanks anyway, Mrs. Dolan. I'm fine. No, really.
I'll take a cup, Father. I'll pour
Seriously?
a cup for you. You can have it if you want.
I kind of think they both have their charms and also their drawbacks. I've noticed though, Americans when they come here sometimes don't pick up on Irish people not being direct sometimes. It's very confusing, I understand that. Social cues in Ireland are a big thing, and for some reason we're all kind of fluent in social cues, generally speaking. Irish people understand other Irish people's social cues. The next difference is classifying where you are from. Irish people will only say you are Irish if you are born in Ireland. America is a hot pot of cultures and everybody's come from other countries. So generally speaking, if your parents were born, say for example in Ireland, they'll say they're Irish or they're Irish American. Whereas an Irish person will say, you were born in America, you're American.
Oh, that's the Irish, I know them.
In the same way, Americans have a huge attachment to their culture. So if they're Italian in heritage, they'll be deeply connected to their heritage. Whereas Irish people, not so much that I've found.
We don't care.
I kind of enjoy the American people's interest in all things that are cultural. Obviously, it's a huge aspect of this channel and something I find interesting. But yes, the classification of where you are from matters not even a tiny little inch to Irish people and a whole lot to American people. The next thing is the social lubricant Irish people use is alcohol, and the social lubricant American people use is coffee. In America, you can go for a cup of coffee at 11 o'clock in the evening if you want. You're going to find a coffee shop open. Good luck doing that in Ireland. The idea of late night coffee shops is pretty much almost completely diminished in Ireland now because Irish people just tend to prefer to go to the pub for social things, for business things. The idea of a coffee date in Ireland is like, no. I'm actually not a massive drinker, so for me sometimes I'd rather go to a coffee shop, but the only thing available is a pub, so you go to the pub. You don't have to drink in the pub. But yeah, people are going to probably judge you a little bit for not drinking. That's just a part of being Irish.
And it really hurt my feelings.
I just want a Diet Coke, okay? The next huge difference is our attitude to swearing. Irish people will swear as a part of expressing themselves, and they'll use it for dramatic emphasis or even to make something funnier. The C word is used a lot in Ireland very casually, not by everybody. There are some people who are offended by the C word, but definitely I would hear it a couple of times a day in Ireland. Like, that's not an uncommon thing. In America, if you say the C word, you're going to draw a few. It's hard to do that when you're not actually reacting to anything. It's a very different thing, and I find if you're around American people and you start swearing a lot, they're very offended a little bit. In Ireland, swearing is a very casual thing. People do it all the time, even in professional circumstances.
How dare you?
Not all professional circumstances, but a lot of them. So yes, our attitude to swearing is very, very, very different. The next big difference is American people drive everywhere, absolutely everywhere, and because of that there's loads of car parking everywhere in America and loads of car parks, whereas not so much in Ireland. You're hard pressed to get parking on the street in Ireland sometimes because Irish people tend to walk a lot of places, and also, I hate to say it, but we do kind of have good public transport. It is late a lot, but it's fairly good. That actually hurts to say, it really does, because there's a lot wrong with it, but also there's a lot of it around. Also, because Ireland is pretty small, say you're going out in the loch for the night, a lot of people will just order taxis because, you know, it's like 20 quid into and out of town. It's not that big of a deal. I've noticed Americans drive even like around the corner to a shop. Like, you guys drive everywhere, and also you guys drive really young. And the number one weird difference I've noticed between Ireland and America is spicy food. In Ireland, when you order spicy food, the chances are it's not going to be that spicy unless it's somewhere particularly renowned to have a super, super, super spicy thing. I will even order like the spiciest thing from a restaurant, and I'll know it's going to have a little kick, but it's not going to be super spicy. In America, you have crazy levels of spicy, like all kinds of spicy that burn the mouth off you. I know we've experienced some of that in my videos.
I have only one regret.
But when I'm in America and I order something spicy, I definitely go to the lowest or sometimes medium. It's a big difference because when you guys say spicy, you mean spicy. If anybody knows of a place serving the spiciest thing in Ireland, let me know below in comments, because I'd like to check that out. And that's it for today's video. Let me know below in comments if there's anything that you think I missed, and check out my other lists, because stuff might be over there. Today's video goes out to a couple of patrons. The first one is Jason Moir, who wants to shout out his friend Dr. Joe Gorez. Dr. Joe is a member of Jason's doctoral program cohort. Shortly after earning his doctorate, he was promoted to principal position at his school. Go on, Dr. Joe, with the smart stuff. The next patron is Kevin Swiger, who wants to shout out his mum, Frances Swiger. She turned 89 on September the 15th, and this is a lovely picture of her. Happy birthday, Frances. Feel free to engage with one another in the comments in a respectful way, and I will see you guys on the other side of the weekend. Bye. Are you coming up? Are you gonna just stare at me? It still feels uncomfortable even though you're a dog. An American would be more like, hey, do you mind sticking on a kettle? Hey, do you mind sticking on the kettle? Hey, you got any coffee? Hey, you got any coffee? I can hear you wagging back there.